Welcome to Political Voice on VTV. I am Jude Ikami Jude. Well, our focus today are first, Tinubu suspends Betta Edu, directs Efcc to chair to conduct probe. And of course, Peter Obi says leadership failures threatening Africa's growth. Now, let's go on a break, and when we return, we will go into the stories in full.
It's no longer news that the NNPCL plan to increase the price of petrol to reflect the current market condition and ensure the sustainability of the petroleum industry. The proposed increase aims to address the challenges faced by the corporation and support its operations. However, the NNPCL has debunked the news, saying there is no plan to increase the price of petrol anytime soon. Today, VOPTV is out here on the street to hear what the people have to say on this.
And this has always been what we've experienced in Nigeria as a nation. First, you hear some rumor, then before you know it, you start seeing it getting close. You know, I remember during the time of Obasanjo's regime, former president of Nigeria was saying that Nigerians could afford to buy a bottle of beer for 250, 250 naira, 200 naira those days, and they can now afford to buy a liter of fuel for that amount. Before we know it now, a liter of fuel is, some place they sell 600 plus. It has even tripled what the ex-president talked about. So that was how it started. So if they are saying want to, definitely, before we know it, I'm telling you, before the first quarter of this year, there's going to be a hike in the price of fuel. So
that's not like they increase the fuel from 610 naira to 1,200. Can't possible.
You know, I'm a transporter. Before, when they're selling it 200 naira, we know how much I'm taking it home with my family. But this time around, they're selling it 600. Nothing much again. Before we pay those people that have this pack, before buying fuel, nothing will remain again. The cost of living will be.
Welcome back. Now to the major talking point. You see, after days of sizzling outrage against the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, over a messy disbursement scandal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu announced the first suspension of a member of his 48-man cabinet today, Monday, removing the 37-year-old from the office with immediate effect. In a statement this afternoon, the president's spokesman, Ajurin Galale, stated that his principal ordered the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, to conduct a thorough investigation into all aspects of the financial transactions involving the ministry and one or more agencies thereunder. Controversy had involved Edu's alleged involvement in the approval of 585 million naira to be disbursed into a personal account. In a letter allegedly signed by the humanitarian minister, she introduced or instructed the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madin, to transfer the sum to the account of one Onyelu Bridget as grants for vulnerable groups in 4 states. However, Madin confirmed that although her office received a request from the humanitarian ministry to make certain payments, her office did not act on it. Edu subsequently said there were plans to tarnish her image, adding that she won't embezzle government funds. But incidentally, the EFCC is presently probing Edu, and of course predecessors Sadia Farouk over alleged laundering of 37.1 billion naira during her tenure as a minister under the administration of ex-president Muhammadu Buhari. Now, joining us this evening is a public affairs analyst. He is Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. A very beautiful evening to you, Barrister Tunji. Good evening to you.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
All right. Well,
it's my pleasure to be with you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, let's start talking. Do you really think the government were too quick to dismiss Betta Edu without, going through proper investigation?
I think I was even worried that the president did not even do that before now. I was because I was of the opinion that, look, when is it director general or whatever, the one head of NCI, the social investment whatever, I can't remember the name of the under Betta Edu's agency, was alleged of this kind of offense. She was immediately suspended, and another person was asked to take a position. So I was surprised that when the president initially made his comment, he was just talking about they will look into it and did not say anything about suspension. So I was surprised initially that did not happen. So I'm not surprised that she has not been suspended. That is the right thing to do. If you want to show that clearly you want to fight corruption, or you are interested in fighting corruption.
Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, I would want you to go further by helping us provide more of this information about the alleged disbursement scandal and, of course, the involvement of the minister in approving the transfer of funds to a personal account.
You see, I'm one of those who believe that this humanitarian ministry, whereby the program of the government, whereby money will be shared to people, it's an avenue to just steal money. For me, I believe, if not even under this Betta Edu, from now, because we don't have the basic foundation, basic to determine who and who money is being transferred to. So for me, I see it as any attempt in Nigeria to share money through anybody, I see it as corruption, attempt to just steal money by way of so that you won't be able to account for it. So what I'm saying is that, look, regarding this, what's it called? The current minister, the minister was alleged to have transferred over 500 million naira into a private account, which is against the position of the law. No law did not allow a public fund to be paid into a private account, and she has done that. She transferred that money into a private account, one Bridget for, they say, for purpose of disbursement to those vulnerables. Unfortunately, it's contrary to what the former minister, Betta Edu, told us. She told us that when people were, initially when the program was being introduced, she was asked how transparency would the program be. And she said, look, no, it will be transparent because no money will be transferred directly from CBN to the beneficiaries. Then what we are seeing now, what we're hearing now, is that money is being transferred to a private individual account, and we have been told the money is to be shared to people in Lagos State, Akwa Ibom, and some other state like that. Which is against the law. Any law, any avenue to transfer money into a private individual is an attempt to steal money. In fact, there's a law called Financial Regulation Act 2009. That law made it an offense for anybody to transfer money from a public fund to a private account, or even from a private account to a public account. It's an offense, and he said anybody who does that will be seen as an attempt to defraud to defraud. So what the former minister has done now, as far as I'm concerned, is contravention of that law, and the president has done the right thing by asking her to be suspended pending when the investigation will be concluded.
Barrister, hold on. You are a barrister. You're a lawyer. We want to find out what the law says about transferring money into a private account.
I just said it now that section 713 of the Financial Regulation Act 2009, the law make it an offense or prohibits any individual to transfer money from public money to a private account, or vice versa, from the private account to a public account. And the law said that, look, where that is done, that person will be seen as an attempt as trying to fraud or to defraud the state, or to make a fraudulent intention. So what I'm saying is that any transfer from public money account to a private account, or any transfer from a private account to a public account,
Give me put the pictures now.
Until now, the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Hadiya Farouk, hasn't been probed. What's your take on this?
She hasn't been probed. She's been called. She has been called to come and give account. But whether the former minister or the suspended minister, I'm not expecting anything positive that will come out of it. Or it will just be a daily news, and that will be the end of it thereafter. They've been called. In fact, she has been due for investigation even before now. The former minister. In fact, why she was even in office, she was even due to be investigated, because this is a woman that told us that why students were in school, were in their houses. She said she was feeding them. So I was expecting them to call her to come and give explanation as to give account as to how those money were distributed, those food were distributed. You see, like I said, the idea of sharing money, as far as I'm concerned, is a simple way of siphoning money. It's a clearance. Just go and steal our money. That's what they are doing. I don't see how can the government, who is talking about what's it called? Who's trying to face out who's talking about cashless society, using cash to people. And even though this suspended minister told us that that will not happen, they will do transfer. And today now we have been told money is being transferred into a private account. It's sad. It's an unfortunate situation, and it sees that, look, we have people with greed in our system. As a minister, you are comfortable. There's nothing you need again that you not see as a minister without even stealing any money. This also, if you also recall, aside from the allegation of 500-something million naira transferring to a private account, there was also an allegation that a certain 72 million or so was a mark for traveling expenses to Kogi State, including flight tickets. In Kogi State, they don't have airports. So where the flight ticket comes from, I don't understand. So you can see, these are the people, they want to go and share 20,000 naira to an individual each. And those who want to go and share the money are getting at least 1 million or close to 1 million on a travel. And you can see the system. Our system is bad. Somebody, you want to go and give somebody 20,000 naira, and you are using millions of naira to do that. When you can sit in your office and do transfer or do everything. We don't even have the data. We don't have enough data as far as I'm concerned. What we have is just a data, and which cannot be verified by anybody. Unfortunately, it is what it is. She has learned a lesson in a hard way. And then next time she has opportunity, she will be more careful.
You see, we understand that, when you try to fight corruption in one way fights back, and then by going by...
You have to explain that to me. What do you mean by if you fight corruption fight back? What is the meaning of corruption fight back? I don't understand it.
Of course.
If you allege me of wrongdoing, I'll fold my hand, I will not challenge it. If I know I'm clean, and you now tell me when I'm challenging you, you now say I'm fighting back, or corruption is fighting back. What do you mean by that? If you have a strong institution, no corruption cannot fight back. There's nothing like corruption is fighting back. But what we have is that we have corrupt system. We have people, we have a situation whereby individuals are bigger than the country. And then they can use their own influence to. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't buy that idea of corruption is fighting back. Which corruption is fighting back? You said we are not ready to do anything. If we are ready to fight them, no way. If the institution is working well, nobody will fight it, no corruption will fight back.
Okay, right now, let's go deeper a little bit. Going by the president's antecedents, do you think he has the power to fight corruption, as it were?
Unfortunately, that question is a very bit dicey. If we look at a lot of allegations against the president regarding corruption, I'll be tempted to say that the president has no moral right to fight corruption. In fighting corruption, the president himself, his hands are not clean, and people will not even take his corruption seriously. And sometimes too, there are things he will not do because he knows that maybe probably he's also in the same category. In a way, in quotes. So there's that kind of perception of a president being a corrupt person. So if that perception is there, that will also affect the president in fighting the corruption. When you have that toga of being a corrupt person, there is no way whatever you are doing, people will see it as you don't mind him. He's just trying to do eye service. So for me, it will be difficult for the president to, but people can show that, look, I'm in charge. Even though there's an allegation against me, I can see 5 people who are doing it. So people may now come out, if they also have an evidence or clear allegation of corruption against the president, can also come out and say their own. But there's that perception that the president is corrupt in a way, and then that perception is robbing on his legitimacy in the country.
Let's holistically look at it now. With the way things are going, do you think that the president will completely lay off Betta Edu? Like, do you think the president will fire Betta Edu?
For me, she should be a gunner by now. For me, and if an attempt is made to even bring her back, that is a confirmation that there's no fight against corruption in the country. There are clear evidence against her. She has not even denied it, that she transferred money to an individual account. There was no denial by him, by her. There was no denial by her. And the Accountant General of the Federation also confirmed that the application was, they seek approval for that, and she denied it. And then they still went ahead to do it. So and she's not denying it. The only thing she's saying is that is in line with the civil servant practice, and the person that the money was transferred to is the project director and the supervisor, and they want her to go and share the money. Is that the proper process? Is that the way what the law says? The law says no one should pay a public money into a private account, and you are now paying public money into a private account. I don't understand. So if it's brought back by the president, that will be the end of any attempts by the president to fight any corruption.
Okay, now, if she's fired, would you then want to believe that the president is on his toes and he's, of course, fighting corruption?
The president does not even have any choice. Because the way it is now, the president is looking for every means to get that support from the majority of the Nigerians. He's looking for every means to get that legitimacy given to him by the majority of Nigeria, at least for majority to accept him as the right president of the country. So he will not do that, because the way people will come out against him will even affect his government. So I don't expect that president will do that. This president is wiser than that. I don't think he will do that. They may give a soft landing somewhere.
Not considering
not bringing her back.
Not considering how close she is to the president.
I know she was close, and that was why initially you can see they did not pronounce a suspension initially. But because there are a lot of people who are crying about the. I don't want to don't let me say people who are crying. People who are making a lot of allegations as regard or asking for her to be suspended, and that was the pressure put on the president. If she's brought back, I tell you there will be a lot of protests regarding that. And a lot of people will even challenge the president. They will say bye-bye to fight against corruption under this administration.
All right. Thank you so very much, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Now, our second focus, of the day is the fact that the Labour Party candidate during the February the 25th presidential election, Peter Obi, has disclosed that Africa's growth and development may be impossible if the leaders do not get their acts right. He said that if the continent does not deal with its only challenge, which he claimed was leadership failure, achieving the needed development and growth may be near impossible, according to him. Now, Peter Obi explained that while the continent is blessed with abundant human and natural resources, leadership failure had been its albatross. Now, according to him, to paraphrase late Professor Achebe's ageless words on Nigeria, the trouble with Africa is simple and squarely leadership problem, caused mainly by the unwillingness of African leaders to rise to their leadership responsibility. He alleged that government across the continent have become, gigantic criminal enterprises. Let's hear what he said.
Julius Malema of South Africa, myself. However, last minute, the government, for best reasons known to them, cancelled the conference and everything. 3 of us had already arrived, which is Professor Lumumba, Dr. Arikara, and myself.
And no explanation was given to the cancellation.
We did give interview to show the purpose of the convention. The purpose of the convention is strictly to start African conversation on how to give the youth hope. Africa cannot continue to go the way it's going, because today Africa has the highest pool of energetic young people in their productive age. Out of Africa 1.4 billion population, they have 1.1 billion youths who are energetic, talented, and can take over the world. And Africa have the best assets today globally. No other person, no other continent had that. The human resource which I've just described, we have the mineral resources. No other continent have the amount of minerals that Africa have. We have 40% of the world gold today, 90% of the platinum. And in terms of countries, of course oil and everything, in terms of countries, one country that have highest amount of minerals in is Congo, sitting on 24 trillion worth of minerals. Africa as a continent have 65% uncultivated arable land. If you position all this, Africa is there to go. So you must give the young ones hope.
Now talking about
process. And so it is then disheartening that with all this potential, Africa is home to the poorest number of people. We're out of the 700 million people that are poor globally today, 431 million is from Africa, over 60%. That is not acceptable.
Not acceptable indeed. Now, talking about giving the young people
All right. That was Peter Obi. Now, Africa is rich with so many things. You heard where he went ahead to mention a lot of things, rich in gold, rich in several mineral resources, and so many other things, right? Now, we all believe that Mother Africa is actually rich. But when it comes to leadership, Africa is poor. And we want to find out why. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, maybe you would want to help us understand or help us, get into what are the reasons why you feel that our leadership is, leadership issues is what we have in Africa, and how can this be tackled?
We are having, I agree with him that we are having leadership problem in Africa, especially in Nigeria. We are having that leadership problem. And we are having that leadership problem just because followership are weak. We have weaker followers. So if you have followers who are weak, you have followers who are also as greedy as the leaders. You have followers who are selfish. You have followers who only see their interests, or who always feel issue based on what they benefit. We will continue to have a leadership that is weak. If we do our elections based on sentiment, religion, ethnic sentiment, whatever sentiment, then they will get people who are weak, who will be either one-sided. In other words, you know that this person is not exists. That because of one sentiment or the other, you support that person. And so you get a kind of leader you deserve. So leadership is weak because they know the kind of followership they have. The followership they have are followers who cannot challenge them, who don't ask for accountability, who sees some of the majority of the followers see you people who are asking for accountability or transparency as enemy of the government. They see people who criticize the government as people who are against the government, or who are not in love with those in government, or who are jealousy of those in government. So I agree with him. There's a leadership problem in Africa. There's a leadership problem in Nigeria, but that leadership problem exists because the followers are weak. If the followers know they are right, and they know that they own the country, and they are owned together with the leaders, the leaders will change. If they know that, look, without these followers, we cannot be there, and we will not be there, the leaders will change, and they will do what the followers are looking for. Unfortunately, we know one die, they won't go ever.
When you see good things, the best thing you could do is to emulate the good thing. But here in Africa, it's quite different. The question is, why do you think our leaders don't learn from around the world, from Europe, America, and some of the continents in the world where things are going on well? Leadership is at its peak. Why don't we learn from these people? Why is it that we're just backwards in terms of leadership?
We don't have leaders in Nigeria. We have people who are just using the opportunity to increase their profile, to boost their profile and their weight. We don't have people who are leading the country. Leadership is not about, it's about service. Leadership is not about being served. But what we have in Nigeria is that people that will be in power, that will expect the followers to serve them. And that's why, and the followers are doing the same thing too, and doing it too. Because you see somebody who doesn't even have who was living in a one-bedroom flat, become either a councillor, a commissioner, or House of Assembly, he immediately became rich. And people will say, hey, what do you expect? He's not in government. So it shows that leadership also approve. The followers also approve what the leaders are doing, and they're also waiting for their own turn. So what I'm saying is that, look, as long as we have followers who are weak, we will continue to have leaders that are not strong, that don't even consider your interests. As long as we elect or choose our leader based on sentiment, based on where he comes from, the language he speaks, the clothes he wears, the kind of thing, the church he goes to, the mosque he goes to, the religion he practices, then we'll continue to have this kind of leaders that don't believe that, look, they are in place because the followers want them in place. They see themselves as, look, I work my way in. And that was why one person will be able to will confidently and boldly say, I bought form for everybody. I put everybody in power, and then I can remove them. So you can't destroy my structure. You cannot do this and that. And that's why you see somebody will say, a Milokan. And then as if we're in a monarchical system of government. And then they will say, he will grab it, he will take it, and will run away with it. And we'll be looking. Nothing will happen. So you continue to have that kind of a leader because they believe that you are not the one that put them there. They were there by virtue of their experience or strategy that they are able to, some of them are called master strategy because they can manipulate. So in Nigeria, if you can manipulate, you are good in manipulation. You know how to maneuver things, you know how to grab and take and run away with it. People clap for you. So there's no way you will not see the kind of leader you are having today.
And would you want to tie that to our mentality?
Yeah, you see, like I said, I've said it. We deserve the kind of leader we are getting. The attitude of every Nigeria is the attitude of our leaders. Almost all of us are the same. When I say all of us here, I'm talking about Nigerians generally. Most majority of Nigerians are just waiting for their opportunity. They will tell you to endure and wait for your turn. Just bear it. Just support them. Just grow with them, and then you will get the opportunity and you will become a rich, or you become a godfather as well. So we have a system that is not working. We have people whose attitude are not for progressive. We have people who are just selfish, greed, and who are always only interested in money. Money has taken over our affair in the world, particularly in Africa and in Nigeria here. Like I said, the major problem we're having, that why we're having the kind of leader we're having, is because we have followers who are weak. As long as the followers are weak, we'll continue to have this kind of leader.
Now, do you think
even the Excellency Peter Obi that is talking, if he's given the opportunity, he would not do more than what these people are doing. He may even do worse. I'm telling you.
You think
not
so?
Because it's not good.
You really
not
think
because
so?
It's not good. Not because it's not doesn't have a strategy. Then because when he gets there, he will see himself as a alpha and omega, and he wants everybody to bow and then bend for him and see him as the one in charge. And that's the problem we're having in India. And that's why you see people, the current president, he was one of the most people who have been fighting for restructuring. Even before we have immediately after the democracy, they've been talking, even before the democracy, he's been talking about restructuring. Today he's in president. Did you see him talk about that again? Did you hear him do anything about that?
Hold on.
Do you hear him say anything about it? So when people are outside, they say things that are sweet. There are people that will give people opportunity. People will see them as people who are good. Then when they get into power, you see you see a different person entirely.
And
that's not to say His Excellency Peter Obi is bad. I'm saying that until he gets that power, I will know whether he will behave differently or not.
Are you saying that he wouldn't have been able to do better if he was elected as the president?
In fact, if he was elected in 2023 as the president of Nigeria, he will not do better. Not because he's not good, because of our system. Who are those people that work for him? People who left PDP and APC that will say they were corrupt. Majority of them will be the one to work with him. And is it the same youth that are concerned about money? How you get the money, don't care about it, just bring money. So in fact, as far as I'm concerned, the people who call youth that will say they are more, that we should give them opportunity. As far as I'm concerned, their eye is even wider than those in authority today, because they want to drive. They don't want to work. They are not doing anything now. They want to drive limousine quick. They want to buy private jet quick. So that mentality will force them to do what they are not supposed to do, and will force them not to even care about you. So for me, and the structure we have in this country today, the institution is not working. It's only one person. One person cannot do anything. Other people will be frustrated, and they will be forced to do things the way they wanted it. So as far as I'm concerned, I cannot fight for anybody. I don't even believe in a situation whereby we will be relying on one person and say this person because of this person. That was why we rely on the former president Buhari. We say because he's a disciplined man, he's an incorruptible person, is this and that. We are not even looking at whether or not he has the capacity, he has the knowledge, he has the wherewithal to rule the country, but we're not looking at that. So as for me, Mr. Peter Obi, with due respect, is also not even showing the quality leadership as far as I'm concerned now. He's not showing the quality leadership that I expect of him. His party, Labour Party, is in practice for even before the election. Up to date, he has not done anything about it. He was not showing interest in resolving the matter, because he just drooling with one side of the group and leaving the other group to be where they were. So that's not leadership. Leadership is not about taking side.
So are you saying that, okay, well, anyway, we're still talking about leadership. Are you saying that Peter Obi is not a good leader, looking at how he has been or what has been happening in his party, the Labour Party?
I'm not saying that. Why I'm saying that he has not been doing, I've not seen him do differently from what other people in government are doing now, in terms of the leadership trait. Because I remember during the campaign, he was more concerned about himself being the president. He was not concerned about other people contesting. As a president, as a leader and the president as a presidential candidate of the party. I remember I raised that issue at that time during the campaign, that a person who wants to become a president should carry other people along, should also see other people as himself. But he was more concerned about his own campaign. He was not even more. You were not even seeing him in most of the campaign for the party at the time when the campaign was going on. So that is not a good leadership. That is to show that, look, Mr. Peter Obi may be selfish when he gets to power. I'm sorry about that. That's my own position.
No, he didn't call it that. He said it's a way to cut costs, you know, cut the cost of governance, not being selfish.
No, I agree with all the things he said. I'm not saying what he said are not correct. I'm not saying I'm not throwing away the message. I'm talking about we're talking about leadership, and he's also a leader. I'm talking about, look, that if those who when we speak when we're not in government, that does not mean that we are going to do what we are saying. And I gave you an example of the current president when he was outside the government. He was talking about what's it called now? About restructuring. He was one of those who are fighting for that. He was one of those who are talking about state police, state policing or so. Now he's in power. Are you hearing anything about that? Is there any plan towards that? Are you seeing anything in that manner? That's why I'm saying that when you get to power, sometimes all the things you are saying, you forget it because of certain things that you have seen, the certain level you have attained, and the other people you will see around you will be political jobbers who will be telling you what to do and what not to do. And then the people that Mr. Obi will work with are also part of the people in Nigeria. Majority of them will be part of those who have already who have been in government and who we have seen as not have done well while in government. Because I remember his first campaign director, DG, he was a member of a PDP for years, and he was one of those people who are alleged of that is Mr. Chief Donyo Kupi. So those are the people that he work with if he was able to get power. So what difference would they do? He will work with the Abaribe is now I think he went through a Labour Party. Those are the people he will work with because they are members of his party. So they are not different from those who are. So for me, I'm not saying Mr. Obi was not saying the right thing. He has said the right thing, but I'm saying that he may not be different from those who are already in power now today.
Okay, now, when you talk about growth, when you talk about development, I mean, it's all tied to the leadership. It's all tied to leadership, so to speak. Now, can you help us pick out, some specific areas you think leadership failure has hindered or is hindering Africa's growth?
Yeah, like I said, when we say leadership, you need somebody that will direct and give direction, that will lead and will show you good example. That's what we're talking about. It's not about the work is not even on the head of the leader. The followers have a lot of job to do as far as I'm concerned. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, the major problem we have in Africa is followership. The lack of good followership. We have bad followership. If you have good followership, the leaders will have no choice than to cooperate. When you have a bad followership, the leaders will do the way they like. So what I'm saying is that, look, in as much as I agree with His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, that leadership is one of our problems, I also believe that followership is even more dangerous. That lack of a good followership is even more dangerous, or more. It's also retarding our progress than even the leadership itself. Because if you have followership who are firm, who are interested in this, the leader will have no choice. They will follow. They will comply. That's also, but we have people who are docile. We are all docile. We are all just trying to be to fold our arms and see what can. And we're leaving everything to the politicians. Because when we want to talk now, we talk about why is PDP not playing their opposition role? Why is Labour Party not playing their opposition role? Must Labour Party and PDP play opposition role for us to have development? What are the entire Nigerians? What are we doing? Are we not supposed to be opposition as well? So if we don't have good followership, leadership will not achieve nothing in terms of he will just be doing whatever he likes, and then whatever he likes will be what he will be doing to you, and then you may not get progress in that regard. They are not doing well. What I see is that the priority of those in government, the leadership we have in Africa, is personal. They look at their own personal affair. In other words, they want more how to acquire wealth, state capturing. That's what political interest, the godfatherism. I want to be in control of everything, be the father of all, be the controller of all. That is the kind of leader we have in the country. It's not about people. Leadership is about people. They're not thinking about people. Otherwise, if leadership that we have in this country is thinking about people, you will not see them budget a huge amount of money for their personal use that compared to what they are giving to the public. For instance, in the current the one that is current now, the current year that we have, we are seeing a situation whereby we are being told to tighten our belts. We are being told to endure pains that will no pain, no gain. And these same people are budgeting 15 billion for renovation of for building of car park, for building of a recreation center, for buying. They are budgeting billions of naira for SUV. So their priority is not about you. So it's about themselves. So the priority is the problem here. The people we have in power today don't have the interest of the people at heart. Their interest is about themselves, about giving themselves that life, that kind of life they wanted to live. In other words, they want to live big, and they are using that opportunity to take it by using our commonwealth to achieve that. So if we have people who have the interest of the people at heart, who have the interest of the masses at heart, we will be able to do whatever the people are looking for, and then we will achieve our result. And more importantly, like I said, the people must hold them into account. We must stand up. If we are not standing up, people will not, the leaders will do whatever they want to do. And that's why I said, if Mr. Obi is not careful, if he gets the power, he will not do more than what these people are doing, because nobody will check him, and he will see himself as Alpha and Omega, and he will be doing whatever he likes. Right. In other words, most of the people in government see their personal interest or whatever they think is good as the best for everybody, not minding what the people are thinking. And that's not leadership. Leadership is about people. In fact, leadership may even want to introduce a policy that you believe will benefit everybody. If people are saying no to it, you leave it. But what do we have in Africa or in our country? When there's a policy introduced, once a policy is introduced by the government, you must pull it through. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it must be achieved. They don't want to hear your opinion.
I want you to
about it.
Yeah, thank you. I want you to help us understand. You mentioned followership and you mentioned leadership. And for me and for some Nigerians watching us right now, we want to find out which comes first. Is it followership or leadership? Which one?
For me, it's even followership that comes first. If you have good followership, leadership will sit tight. If you have, you see, if I'm rating percentage, I would say we must have followers that would have 60% dedication.
We learn from our leaders.
And then followers, and the leader, followership with 60% dedication, and followership with leadership with 40% dedication. With that 60% dedication by the followers, leaders will not have any choice than to follow the followers.
Barrister Tunde,
then what we have today, we have a situation whereby the leaders have a 90% stake in our country, and 10% is for the followers.
But you would not argue with me when I say that we are forced to learn from our leaders in this part of the world. So don't you think what the followers are doing right now is what they've learned from the leaders?
No, I don't believe that. Well, leadership is not about telling us what to do and what not to do. It's about implementing what we are looking for, what we wanted, what the followers are looking for. What the followers are looking for health. They are looking for a good medical environment. They are looking for good education. They are looking for the work of the leaders is to implement it. That is the work of leader. It's not for leader to always give us that policy as to what to do and what not to do. No, that is not the role of a leader alone. Leader is to implement our demands, our needs.
All right.
Then what we are seeing in the country is that we expect that leaders should be the one to tell us this is what we are supposed to do, and this is where we are going, and we must follow it. And that was why when the issue of subsidy is gone came up, I remember I'm one of those few people who said this is not a good policy for us, that it will create more hardship. I remember you tackled me that time, and they're saying that it's not the best for us. Is that not what we are looking for? Is that I would have not been talking about it? And I said, look, we don't have the basis, we don't have the foundation to have
that. Because of our time, I will quickly want you to, because you are a social commentator, you are a public affairs analyst. I would quickly want you to help us see if there are strategies, all right, that you would want to prefer, or you want, you want people to implement, you want the government to implement to address, the leadership problem in Nigeria, by extension in Africa.
Wide question and general question. You must be specific. You can't expect me to be drawing policies for as I'm sitting here for the government and say this is the simple direct thing that a government should need to do. What welfare for the people. In fact, our constitution in section 14 captures it. He said, look, the basic responsibility of government is the welfare and security of the people. So in terms of security, provide it. Welfare ensure that there's an enabling environment for people to sustain themselves, to live, provide quality education, provide quality health. These are not science rockets. They are not difficult to do. They don't want to do it, and we're not asking them to do it, and we're giving justification for not doing it. Rather than ask them questions and push them to do it, we'll be justifying it. We'll be talking about, you see, there is no money, or they have been trying their best. They were not, or one of them will just do 1 or 2 kilometer road, and we'll start going to town and start clapping and say it's the best that has come so far. The better do that we're talking about today. So to some people, she's one of the best ministers that we have in this administration. Why? Because you see him talk every day. You see him come to radio or TV every day with Queen's English, unlike my own. And then people will say, she's the best. As it is today, people will tell you Minister of Interior is the best minister we have ever had, just because he was able to do passports. Reduce the tension in passport, whatever. A minister doing the job of a director, not even a director in the ministry. And we are clapping and we are saying he has done the best. He is the best for us. He has done the right thing. It's the right thing that he has done. Then he has just scored 2 over 10. If it's about marking, he has just scored 2 over 10. And we are shouting to the air and he has done the best. In fact, if he's not doing anything again, this is enough. No, that means we don't even know what government is all about. The Minister of Work is always go on TV talking about concrete road and no road. And people are shouting that he's one of the best ministers we have. I have not seen him done anything. No one single road has been done by him. And people are still shouting. So you can see that the effect of followership. If followership are not saying the right thing, or they're not putting their government into doing what they are looking for, the government will do the wrong thing. So what I'm saying is that, look, it's very simple. Look at the basic thing that we need: health, education, social amenities. Once those are in place, government will move on. People will not even bother more about whatever government is. People are stealing money or they're not stealing money. Let them just live their own life and enjoy themselves. Let's have electricity that's constant. Let's have water that is flowing everywhere. Let's have things that is working. So it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I don't know. Every year they will budget 7 trillion. And at the end of the day, they will tell us we have generated 8 trillion. Yet, we are not able to achieve the budget they put out for 7 trillion naira. And even though they were telling us 8 trillion was generated in that particular regime, for instance. So, it's about followership as far as I'm concerned. Leadership will not, you see, in Yoruba they said, I don't know how to interpret it, so I won't say it. That you will not say you will not do bad, but your people will not allow you to do it. A child will not say you will not. It will not. I don't know how to interpret it in English. So even the Yoruba myself, it's not too sweet for me.
Okay.
So I don't know how to interpret it. A bad boy will not say I will not be a bad boy. It is his parents that will not allow me to be a bad boy. So we are the parent of those in government. But today, people are seeing those in government as our father. That's why people will say the father of the nation, the mother of the nation. Which mother? When it should be our servant. It should be our servant. He's serving us. We are not serving him. So he can't be our father. We are the one in charge. We have the power to say this is what we are looking for. This is what we want you to do. But here, that's not the case. We see those in authority as the one in charge, and whatever they do, we must support it. And people now see anybody that's even raising issue or concern regarding government policy as an opposition or as an enemy of government. So for me, the followership is more. They have more blame in this issue than the leadership.
Thank you. Really, really want to appreciate you for talking to us this evening.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, and that's the size of our package on A Political Voice on VOP TV today. My name is Jude Ikami Jude. Do have a splendid night. Bye for now.
Thomas Sankara was